Nobody hit you. Nobody screamed at you every day. Nobody locked you in a room. So you tell yourself, my childhood was fine. But here is what nobody talks about. The most damaging thing a parent can do to a child is nothing. Absolute nothing. No hitting. No screaming. Just silence. Just absence. Just a child sitting in a room full of people, feeling completely invisible. And if that sentence just hit something deep inside you, stay with me. Because what you are about to discover about yourself might be the most important thing you have ever heard. This is not a video about bad parents. Most emotionally neglectful parents love their children. They just didn't know how to show it. They were too busy, too broken themselves, too emotionally unavailable to give what they never received. But love without emotional presence is not enough for a developing brain. And the child who never had their emotions acknowledged grows into an adult carrying wounds they cannot even see. Today we are going to name those wounds. 7 of them. And I want you to watch yourself in every single one. Sign 1. You don't know what you feel, ever. Someone asks you, how are you feeling right now? And your honest answer is, I don't know. Not because nothing is happening inside you, but because nobody ever taught you to name it. When you were a child, emotions were either ignored or dismissed. You cried and were told to stop. You were scared and were told you were being dramatic. You were sad and were told you had nothing to be sad about. So your brain learned one thing very early. Feelings are not safe. Feelings are not welcome here. So it buried them deep. And now as an adult, you live in your head. You analyze everything. You think constantly. But feeling? Actually sitting with an emotion and naming it? That feels like trying to read a language you were never taught. And here is the painful part. You don't even realize it's happening. Because numb has become your normal. And if that one felt familiar, sign number 2 is going to hit even harder. Sign 2. You are extremely hard on yourself. You make one mistake, and the voice inside your head goes to war. You are so stupid. Why would you do that? You always mess everything up. That voice is not yours. That is the voice of every moment your emotions were dismissed. Every time you needed comfort and received criticism instead. Every time you needed warmth and received silence. When a child's emotional needs go unmet, they don't blame the parent. Their brain is not built for that. They blame themselves. I must not be good enough. I must not be worth it. I must be the problem. And that belief quietly becomes the operating system of your entire adult life. You set impossible standards for yourself. You never celebrate wins. You only see what you did wrong. And no matter how much you achieve, it is never quite enough. Because deep down, that child is still waiting to finally be told they are enough. Sign 3. You feel like a burden to everyone around you. You need something from someone, and immediately a voice says, don't bother them. You are too much. They have their own problems. So you swallow it. You handle it alone. You suffer quietly. And you become the person who never asks for help, even when you are drowning. This comes directly from emotional neglect. When your childhood needs were consistently unmet, your brain registered a devastating conclusion. My needs are not important. My needs inconvenience people. My needs push people away. So you learn to shrink, to make yourself small, to be independent not out of strength, but out of survival. And now people call you strong. They call you low maintenance. They call you easy to be around. And you smile. But inside, you are exhausted from carrying everything alone. Because you never learned that needing someone is not weakness. It is human. You are not too much. You were just given too little. And sign number 4 explains exactly what that does to your relationships. Sign 4. You struggle to trust that anyone actually cares. Someone is kind to you, and your first thought is, what do they want? Someone says, I love you, and somewhere inside you is a wall that says, we will see how long that lasts. Someone shows up for you, and instead of feeling safe, you feel suspicious. This is not paranoia. This is a nervous system that was trained in childhood that emotional availability does not last, that people leave. That warmth is temporary. That love always comes with conditions. Because when you needed your caregivers to be emotionally present, they weren't. Not consistently, not reliably. And a child who cannot rely on their first relationships grows into an adult who struggles to trust any relationship. You keep people at a distance, not because you don't want love, but because some part of you is still bracing for the moment it disappears. Sign 5. You have an endless need to achieve. You cannot stop. One goal is completed, another one immediately takes its place. You rest and immediately feel guilty. You take a day off and spend it anxious. You achieve something significant and feel nothing. No joy, no satisfaction. Just what's next? This is one of the most misunderstood signs of emotional neglect. Because from the outside, it looks like ambition, like drive, like success. But from the inside, it is exhausting. It is a child who learned that performance was the only way to receive any form of acknowledgement. Love was not freely given, but approval could be earned. So they worked, and worked, and worked, trying to finally feel worthy, trying to finally feel seen. And now, as an adult, the achievement is real. But the emptiness underneath it never quite goes away. Because achievements can never fill an emotional hole. Only connection can do that. 5 signs in, and we're just getting to the 2 that most people never connect back to. Their childhood at all. Sign 6. You feel fundamentally different from everyone around you. Not just introverted, not just quiet, but genuinely, like you arrived on this planet from somewhere else. Like everyone received a manual for how to be human and yours got lost in the mail. Social situations exhaust you not just physically, but existentially. You watch people laugh easily, connect easily, belong easily, and something inside you whispers, I don't know how to do that. This feeling of fundamental differentness is one of the deepest legacies of emotional neglect. Because emotional attunement, a parent really seeing and reflecting a child's inner world back to them, is how children learn that their inner world is valid, is real, is worth something. When that attunement never happened, the child grows up feeling like their inner world is somehow wrong. Too much, too strange, too different. And they spend their entire adult life either hiding that inner world or desperately searching for someone who finally gets it. Sign 7. You are haunted by an emptiness you cannot explain. Everything in your life can be objectively fine. Good job. People who care about you. A roof over your head. And yet, there's this quiet, hollow feeling that follows you everywhere. Not sadness exactly. Not depression exactly. Just emptiness. Like something is missing that you cannot name. This is perhaps the most defining sign of emotional neglect. Because neglect does not leave visible scars. It leaves an absence. A void where something should have been. The warmth that should have been there. The validation that should have been there. The moments of being truly seen and held and known. That never happened. And the adult self carries that void forward, trying to fill it with achievement, with relationships, with busyness, with anything that might finally make the emptiness go away. But the emptiness doesn't respond to external things, because it was created by the absence of something internal, something that needed to happen in childhood, and didn't. But here is what I need you to hear before we end. And this might be the most important thing in this entire video. Recognizing these signs is not about blaming your parents. Most of them were doing the best they could with what they had. They were carrying their own unhealed wounds, their own unmet childhoods, their own silence passed down from someone else's silence. This is not about blame. This is about understanding. Because you cannot heal what you cannot name. And now, you have names for it. The emotional numbness, the self-criticism, the feeling of being a burden, the inability to trust, the compulsive achieving, the sense of not belonging, the quiet emptiness. These are not personality flaws. They are not weaknesses. They are the completely logical responses of a child who needed more and didn't get it. And here's the truth that changes everything. The emotional neglect happened in childhood, but the healing that happens now, in the present, by you, for you, by finally giving yourself what was never given, by learning to name your emotions, by learning to ask for help, by learning to rest without guilt, by learning to trust slowly, by learning to be enough, not when you achieve something, but right now, exactly as you are. If any of these 7 signs felt like they were written specifically about you, they weren't written about a broken person. They were written about a child who deserved more, who still deserves more. Leave a comment with the sign that hit you the hardest. You are not alone in this, and your depth is not a flaw. If this video helped you understand yourself even a little better, subscribe, because that is exactly what this channel is here for. I will see you in the next one.